Cleopatra, the queen who defied an empire. A long time ago, in a land called Egypt, there was a powerful queen named Cleopatra. She was born in 69 BC in a royal palace by the Nile River. Cleopatra came from a family of rulers called the Ptolemies. They were not originally from Egypt, they came from Greece. But Cleopatra loved Egypt and wanted to be a great queen. Cleopatra was very smart. She spoke many languages, including Greek, Egyptian, and Latin. She loved to learn about science, math, and history. Most of all, Cleopatra cared about her people. She wanted Egypt to be rich and peaceful. When Cleopatra was just 18 years old, her father, King Ptolemy XII, passed away. Cleopatra became queen along with her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII. Back then, it was common for brothers and sisters to rule together. But soon, Cleopatra and her brother began to argue about who should have more power. Cleopatra was forced to leave the palace when her brother's advisors tried to take control. But Cleopatra didn't give up. She was clever and brave. At that time, a famous Roman leader named Julius Caesar came to Egypt. Cleopatra saw this as her chance to get help and take back her throne. She came up with a clever plan. Late at night, she wrapped herself in a rug and had a servant carry her to Caesar's palace. When the rug was unrolled, Cleopatra appeared in front of Caesar. He was surprised, but he admired her bravery. Cleopatra asked for his help, and Caesar agreed. With Caesar's support, Cleopatra returned to power. Her brother's army was defeated, and Cleopatra became the sole ruler of Egypt. She and Caesar became close friends, and some say they even loved each other. Together, they worked to make Egypt strong again. Cleopatra wanted Egypt to be powerful and wealthy. She built new temples and supported farmers so they could grow more food. She traded with other countries, bringing gold, spices, and grain to Egypt. The people of Egypt respected Cleopatra because she cared about their well-being. Cleopatra also traveled to Rome to visit Caesar. The people of Rome were amazed by her beauty, intelligence, and charm. But not everyone in Rome liked Cleopatra. Some Romans didn't trust her because she was from Egypt, and they worried she had too much influence over Caesar. In 44 BC, something terrible happened. Julius Caesar was killed by his enemies in Rome. Cleopatra was heartbroken. She quickly returned to Egypt, knowing that without Caesar, things would become difficult. After Caesar's death, Rome was ruled by two men, Octavian and Mark Antony. Cleopatra met Mark Antony when he visited Egypt. Like Caesar, Antony was impressed by Cleopatra's wisdom and beauty. They became close, and soon they were working together to rule both Egypt and parts of Rome. Cleopatra and Antony fell in love. They had 3 children together and dreamed of creating a great empire. But Octavian, the other Roman leader, did not like this. He saw Cleopatra and Antony as a threat and declared war on them. In 31 BC, a big battle took place between Octavian's forces and the combined armies of Cleopatra and Antony. This battle was called the Battle of Actium. It was fought at sea, and sadly, Cleopatra and Antony's ships were defeated. They had to flee back to Egypt. Octavian's army followed them to Egypt. Cleopatra and Antony knew they could not win. Antony, heartbroken by their defeat, sadly took his own life. Cleopatra was left alone, but she didn't want to be captured by Octavian. She wanted to stay strong and proud until the end. Cleopatra decided she would rather die than be taken prisoner. According to legend, she asked for a basket of figs to be brought to her. Inside the basket was a small, poisonous snake called an asp. Cleopatra let the snake bite her, and she died peacefully, still a queen. When Octavian arrived, he found Cleopatra had already passed away. With Cleopatra's death in 30 BC, Egypt became part of the Roman Empire. She was the last queen of Egypt. Even though Cleopatra's life ended sadly, people still remember her as a powerful and clever queen. She was one of the few women in history to rule a great kingdom on her own. Cleopatra loved her people and worked hard to make Egypt a better place. She is remembered for her courage, intelligence, and beauty. Cleopatra's story has been told for thousands of years. Many books, plays, and movies have been made about her life. People are still fascinated by her bravery, her love for Egypt, and her dream to create a great empire. Cleopatra may have lived a long time ago, but her story will be remembered forever. She showed the world that a woman could be strong, smart, and a great leader. Cleopatra remains one of the most famous queens in history.